My name is Matthew Katz. I'm running for City Council.
All right. Why are you the best candidate on the ballot?
Good question. I must say that these people that I've met that are running for this 10 people, they're all really very well-meaning individuals. And the only thing I could say for why I should be the candidate as opposed to one other is because I've been here a long time. And I've seen Malibu develop from a nice, friendly, homey city to a place where the so-called NIMBYs are not really being that neighborly, and they're not really paying attention. And I hope that I'll be put into office so that I can shake things up a bit and change the behavior in City Hall and try to get the people to come out and vote.
Okay. Who do you want to see elected to the second seat on the ballot, and why?
Sylvia, what's his name? Can we turn off a second?
Yeah.
I think that Sidley is, if I have to choose between all of these really fine candidates, I would choose him. I'm generally against attorneys, and I've said that in the past of running the city, but I can hear from what I've heard from Mr. Sidley on several occasions now, that his agenda is very much in keeping with my feelings on matters, and he's very well spoken. He knows what he's talking about, and he's I think he's well purposed. I think he really intends to. I don't like to use the word change, but I think that he is really, from his dialogue, he wishes to make things better for the citizens of Malibu, which is also my interest.
Okay. What are the three most important issues now facing Malibu?
Well, I would say that the number one, first most important issue is the finances, how they spend money. I think they're going to bankrupt us if they keep going the way they are. And needless to say, if I get into office, I will fight against any more spending and try to cut back on the amount of the overhead of the city as it is. While the state is bankrupt and while the city is, Los Angeles is bankrupt, we're behaving as if we're exempt from the financial situations in the rest of the country. And I don't think that's true. So finances is number one. I think that water systems, recycling, the environment, the ecology, that would be number two on the list. Number three, turn me off for a moment. I feel that the city should not be involved in the real estate business. And of course, there are many other issues that are important, but if you can say, if those are the top three.
With another minute, can you give me a quick thumbnail of what your position is on those three issues?
Well, I think I already went to that in saying that the city's spending too much money. I don't believe that. You'll probably ask me about Legacy Park, and you'll probably ask me about the city. And if they're going to ask that question later, then I won't elaborate on it this time. But I don't think that the city should be in the real estate business. I understand perhaps the logic behind the idea that, well, let us be the ones who own it instead of letting the developers get it and have them develop properties that we don't feel comfortable with in the design of our city. But the city being in the real estate business, I have very strong feelings about the fact that the people who run the city, I would liken it to when I go into the studio to do a recording, I let everybody do a mix, and I do a mix. And my mix is always selected after the fact. Nobody knows who, because the bass player pushes the bass and the drummer pushes the drum. That's what's happening to me in City Hall, is you've got real estate people and attorneys working there, and subliminally they don't think about the fact that they think real estate is a good investment. And real estate, if you really look into it nationwide, real estate is not known to be, even in the best of times, is not known to be a good investment. So I'm against the city being involved in real estate. And was another part to the question?
That's what we have time for. What issue do you want to tackle first if you're elected?
Well, I think the first thing on the agenda for me would be about safety on the highway. I think that we're spending money on beautification. The city was beautiful when I got here. We shouldn't touch it. If we could go backwards, which we, of course, are very unlikely, that would be my preference, is to go away from so-called beautification and put the money into the safety. If the people think in terms of the safety of their children and their grandchildren, they would do something about the killings that occur on Pacific Coast Highway. They would do something about the fact that ultimately what's happening on Broad Beach, that's just the beginning. Since I've been here, at least 3 storms. I remember when the out underneath the whole restaurant at Paradise Cove went out to sea. My friend's apartment went out to sea with her grandmother's trunk, and a man got taken off the deck about 40 feet up in the air off the deck. They never found him. So there's storm warnings, preparedness. My old Boy Scout motto, be prepared. We're not prepared for storms. We're not prepared for the highway. I think there should be a separate causeway built which would be a good idea to build a causeway, because in its present days of unemployment, it would put thousands of people to work working on that project instead of spending money on projects where there is no income. The buildings that they purchased are not going to make money. They're going to be worse. There's no business in the shops here. I go around to the shops. I've talked to hundreds of people, and they all say the same thing. The shop owners say, well, we're not doing much business, and the people on the street say that they don't know what's going on.
Okay, that's enough time for that. That's all the time we have for that. Is there a current municipal policy or project you would try to change if you're elected?
I would, that's really a radical thing for me to answer, but I'll say it. I haven't said this up to now, which is I went through the new building that's going to be City Hall. It's a terrific building designed for what it is. I don't believe that the city can make any money in it. I'm a record producer. I've spent thousands of hours in studios. There have been studios built to my specifications. It is not a recording studio. It's far away from being able to use. You couldn't use it for recording without. I would estimate, without even going in there and looking again, that you'd have to spend about $1 million just to bring it up to par for recording or video. And in this day and age, if anybody's going to use a facility for production, they're going to want to do a DVD. So the facility is not equipped for that. And I would say they should abandon any idea of that they're going to make a profit. That this isn't an abandonment. It's delusionary to believe that they will make a profit in that building when the people who were there were strictly running it as a performance house facility went bankrupt. And also the thing with the lumberyard. If you had it all to do over again, and maybe it can be reversed, the lumberyard is never going to be financially successful. I spent several hours on Sundays there, 3 or 4 hours at a time, sitting there, watching what's going on. They're buying cupcakes. Otherwise, nobody's buying anything.
Okay, that's the time we have for that. Last question. If you're not elected, what role do you intend to play in city government?
Well, since I've been in the city, I used to go to the township council meetings before we became a city. I did support cityhood. I'm not sure I did the right thing, but I did. And I've been active in going to meetings over the years, and I've taken an interest in various activities, but not enough. And why, your first question, why I'm running for office, is because I realize the only way I'm going to make a change is not just standing around and belly aching about what's going on. I'm going to have to get on the inside. I'm going to have to be more active, and I'm prepared to do that.
Thanks very much.